What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Mint Hunter Comics, and today we're talking about the top 10 comics that you think are valuable but aren't. These are books that maybe due to the fame behind the book or maybe some marketing behind the book, you were led to believe that it's going to be a little payday for you, and it's not. My challenge to you folks, drop in the comments below. I want to hear about books that maybe you guys took to comic book shops expecting a certain dollar amount, only to find, ooh, it's not that valuable after all.
I can barely see them. This is some small prices.
Keep an eye on your comments as I will be choosing a winner to receive another Captain Carrot figure. I'm going to start it off with probably the one I'm going to put in the thumbnail. Superman 75, The Death of Superman. In the early 90s, this book was marketed heavily as going to be a very collectible, valuable book. After all, it was the death of Superman. And personally, I think the writing was pretty solid, and I think most people would agree. This book is wanted. Every collection needs a Superman 75, but guess what? There's a lot of them out there. It's a piece of cake to find one. This is probably the most common book that I see that people think it's worth maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. Then it's really worth about 10. I'm actually shocked that it is even worth the 10 bucks because there are so many printed, but because it's so good and iconic and culturally significant, it still has some value, albeit pretty small. A lot of people in the 90s bought that up thinking it was going to be a payday 30 years from now. Well, you know what? Maybe it needs another 30 years. The next one's going to be another DC entry I see. Free Comic Book Day 2012 New 52 #1. Kind of a mouthful. It is the first appearance of Simon Baz. Now this is a very notable character because of Jeff Johns and the work he put into him, and he has been a more notable Green Lantern character in more recent years. Even though he's a pretty new character, he's been around the block quite a bit. He had his own run with Jessica Cruz for 52 issues or so. It had a small boom during COVID. I actually was one of the suckers that paid top dollar for a 9.8 of this in its absolute peak. But the Raw itself, you gotta remember they were given for free on Free Comic Book Day. So this book is big time out there. You're gonna be able to find it. Sometimes if you're lucky, you might even see it in a dollar bin. When you go on eBay and look at actual recent solds, you can actually find some as low as $2 and $3. That is pretty crazy how far this book has fallen, but when you think about how many exist, it makes sense. Next up is going to be, believe it or not, the oldest entry on this list. It's Captain America 312. And frankly, I could have put a lot of Captain America entries on here. I am choosing the most significant dip in value from what the price guides say. Price guides such as Key Collector still calls this first appearance of Flag Smasher as a $50 book. Well, guess what? It does not move at 50. It does not move at 20. This is a book that sells between $4 and about $8 if you go on eBay. I was able to find many examples of this book selling even with near mint listed in the description for under $10. This actually may be the most price guide versus actual reality dip that I know of. It doesn't help that that character has come and gone in the very subpar Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You have to stop calling them terrorists.
There's still people in there.
This is the only language these people understand.
People think because of the great cover and the story and the character that's introduced that it's going to be a payday. It's not. Next is one of the most egregious ones. This is X-Force #2, the second appearance of Deadpool. This one does blow my mind a little bit. I'm going to be honest. Think about characters like Bishop. The second appearance of Bishop sells for $10 to $15. Hell, the second appearance of Cable sells for higher than the second appearance of Deadpool. Deadpool being the immediate favorite of some of the characters I just mentioned, why is his second appearance with him on the cover selling on eBay recents at $2, $3, $4, even some examples at $1? Well, folks, that is because of the print count. It is still pretty good and it's fun, and there's a reason it sold so much. People liked it. You would actually think that it puts some money back in your pocket, and it just kind of doesn't. I myself sold the near minty to minties for $10, and even I started slipping down to $7. Pretty soon, I feel like I'm going to be selling this for $5 and maybe even less. We'll see how the market does with it. Next is going to be Far Sector number 1. We got a 2019 entry. First appearance of Sojourner Mullen. This is one that apparently sells for $15. Let me tell you, as someone who has an antique shop and runs claim sales every weekend, this doesn't sell for $15. I think I've had success selling it for $10, but even then, I think it's taken quite a few claim sales to get that gone. Reason being, it is a recent book. I'm talking recent. This thing's only 5 years old as of today's video's date. They exist out there. There are a number of variants too. You can find this book and it's not going to kill you. A lot of people have been excited where they're like, it's a first appearance. She's on the cover. This got to be good. It's okay, but no, it's not a payday. Next up, we got to mention War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas number 1. This is littered with keys. First appearance of Arrow, Luna Snow, first cover appearance of Swordmaster, amongst other things. I think it's a book that you should commit to memory because it is going to be a book that through the years we'll see spikes on this. This has the potential to go up again. A lot of people know it and are hunting for it, and once they get it, they think they've got a nice brick there. Not really, man. Check out the recent solds of this. I was able to find quite a few under $10, even with near mint listed in the description. After all, it's a 5-year-old book. Unless it was read to death already, it's still going to be fairly high grade. Just like the second appearance of Deadpool, I don't totally agree with this one. I actually think it should be worth more. I think it has fallen maybe too far. That's just my personal opinion though, and clearly the supply is high enough that it has resulted in being a not expensive book by any means. The next one's an interesting one. We got X-Men 53, the first appearance of Onslaught. Great cover, great colors, great first appearance in the X-Men 90s line, but it just doesn't end up selling for what the price guides often say. Allegedly, this is a book that's supposed to be like $20 to $25.
You are fake news.
Reality, it's another one that slips in under 10 quite a bit, even in like perfect condition. I will tell you, if you're able to squeak a 9.8 on this one, I think it's still at about $100, maybe even more. So if you have a perfect copy, it could be worth submitting. Keeping it raw and selling it raw doesn't do the figures that you would think that a book like that would do. A lot of the earlier X-Men's, like the Gambit Kissing Rogue and the classic Jim Lee 11, and of course the Omega Red keys, do much better. And yeah, they have their dips and everything, but they smoke the first appearance of Onslaught. If you bring all those books I just mentioned to a claim sale, Onslaught will be the one still sitting on the wall. Weird, I know, but it's true. Next up is going to go to Spawn, number 2 through 12. Even though there's a lot of them out there, number 1 still is like a $30 book if you've got like a near minty. Doesn't translate to 2 through 12. There are later Spawn issues that are much more valuable. People slowed up with collecting them. 2 through 12 specifically are always the ones that everyone has because they think, oh, it's the second appearance. We got the Clown, we got Violator, we got some stuff here. I know, guys, I know you got some stuff. Even Spawn number 2 doesn't sell remotely like what you think it would. You can easily find examples of it selling for $1, $2, $3, up to $5 at the tops. And so many people that were reading and collecting in the 90s have this and think that they're sitting on some really good stuff. And the thing is, it's a great read. Collectability, aftermarket money-wise, nah. It's just not. If you're looking to recoup investment on your Spawn readers, dude, the 100 levels do way better than any of the early Spawns. All right, and then we got the first appearance of Dylan Brock, Venom number 7. So Venom number 7 is a cameo of Dylan Brock. Number 9 is the first full appearance. And this is one of those ones where the first full appearance definitely gets the favorite here. Even though I think that the cover for 7 is a much better cover, instantly recognizable for sure, 7 is the one that seems to sell much lower than number 9. Number 9 still sitting pretty at like a $20 book. It actually remains pretty unaffected by the market. 7, the first cameo? No, you can easily find this for under $10 on eBay auctions and this and that. Definitely seems to be a book that people have eased up on, and apparently they really do want that first full appearance over the cameo. That happens a lot, as we know, with Gambit. I just do know that a lot of people were led to believe that hold on to your Venom number 7s, and that might have been some bad advice. At least for right now, it doesn't seem like that was going to be a big investment book. Quite honestly, you've got like a $10 book. It's not the $25 that Key Collector likes to say it is. Last up is the mother of books that people think is worth some money, and my God, it is not. Some of them on this list I've disagreed with. I agree with this one so much. X-Force number 1. This is a massively popular title, and so many people bought up X-Force number 1s. You always see X-Men number 1s, Spider-Man number 1s, and X-Force number 1s. Believe it or not, amazingly, somehow X-Men number 1s still have some value. X-Force number 1 doesn't equate to money back in your pocket, unless you maybe have the Deadpool trading card in the back. The ones with the Deadpool trading cards in the back, so make sure to check, will add some value, but only. Remember, you're going to have Shatterstar, you're going to have Cable, and you're going to have tons of other trading cards that don't add any value. I'm thinking about dollar bins and all the hunting I've done for the past decade or so, and I think this may be my most commonly held comic book. Even more than X-Men number 1s. I see these everywhere. You could practically use it for the lining in your walls. This is so popular, so heavily printed, and people get excited because they're like, ooh, it's still in the poly bag. So many of them are. It's not special. I'm going to embarrass myself here, but one of my earliest attempts at grading, it was a double stupid whammy. I sent a ton of my X-Force number 1s because at the time people were mentioning the book and it had a little bit of value to it. And so I tried to get 9.8. By the way, fun fact, with that book and any polybag books you have to press, it will not get the 9.8 unpressed. You have to press. There's that line running at the back of all polybags, which will leave an indentation. Well, I didn't know that, so I sent them off unpressed. None of them got graded, and even if they did get the 9.8, it wouldn't have been a particular payday for me because that book exists by the thousands. And again, it's just not that valuable. I think this is the most exact list of books that I see that people think is going to be worth something and just really aren't, or maybe like $5-10 tops. What bad investment, super heavily printed comic books have you guys tapped into before and made mistakes on? I want to hear it down below, and as always, keep on hunting, keep on reading, keep on doing whatever you want, how you want. See you at the next video. Make sure to come down to Sentiment Depot Antiques and Collectibles, where I'm set up with all of my comics, located at 238 West Delaware Ave, Pennington, New Jersey. Open every day except for Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy 10% off from Wednesday to Friday. See you there.